All right, now we're going to go over balls hit to the outfield, nobody on base. So balls hit to center field. Now we need to establish between the middle infielders who is going to have priority for our cut man. Ideally, it's going to be our shortstop going out in most cases. So our shortstop's going to go out to the outfield. Our second baseman's then going to cover second base, retrieve the throw. And then similarly, depending on how deep our outfielders are playing, we may not need to throw the ball to the shortstop. We'll instead just be throwing through the shortstop, and our second baseman will be directly covering the bag, receive throw, and then be putting tag on the first base side of the bag where ideally that runner would be coming in sliding. Okay, now we're going to cover balls hit to left field, nobody on base again. So obviously we've drawn the ball to hit to left field. Our shortstop is now going to be going to the outfield, be our first man to be cut off. Our second baseman is then going to cover the bag. And like before, we may not need the cutoff man depending on how deep our left fielder is playing. But ideally, the left fielder is going to throw through the shortstop to the second baseman, and then tag's going to be placed on the first base side of the second base. Okay, now we're going to cover ball hit to the outfield, man on first base. He's taken two bags here, so we need to have a relay to third base. We'll start with the ball hit to left field. Our shortstop is going to become our cut man. He's going to be listening for the third baseman, saying left, right, stick, relative to getting him lined up with the left fielder and the third baseman. Very similar, ball hit to center field. Our shortstop is going to be lined up with our center fielder and third base. Again, third baseman is talking, left, right, stick. And then to right field, our shortstop is going to come into the middle of the field, again, be lined up, listening for the third baseman, positioning him. Our second baseman is always going to go cover second base on the back side of the bag, so he's out of the way of the runner rounding second base. And that's it.
Whenever the cuts go into third, it's important that the pitcher always goes and backs up the throw.
Okay, so now we're going to cover balls hit to the outfield, and we need to have a throw go home. So if the ball is hit on the ground of the outfield, man on second base, or balls hit in the air, man on third base. These are the relays and cuts positioning for where the guys need to go. So ball hits to left field. Our third baseman is now going to be listening from our catcher. He's going to shift over to second base a hair, and then going to be listening for the catcher saying left, right, stick, and relay. Depending on how your team works, communication-wise, at my high school, we have our catchers don't say anything if they want the throw to go through. If they want it to relay, they will yell relay. Okay. Now, balls hit to center and right field. Oh, excuse me. So our shortstop will then go and back up third base if we need to have a back pick there. Thank you. Ball hit to center field and right field. Then our first baseman is our now primary cut. Again, listening for our catcher, positioning him left, right, stick, hold, whatever your communication style is for your team. But yeah, if it's hit to center, he's going to be lined up behind the mound and on the back side of the mound. He doesn't want to be on the mound or in front of the mound. He doesn't want to play with the mound. He wants to be behind it. If it's at the right field, he's going to just shift a couple feet towards second base from his normal positioning.
Depending on the depth of the hit further to the outfield, the first baseman might have to go out a little bit, or if it's shorter on the ground, he might have to actually come in.
Now our pitcher here, it's really important for our pitcher to make sure he's got a job and be backing up. So immediately, he's going to go on the third base side and be backing up home. If there is a guy on second base, ball's hitting to the ground, depending on the depth, right, we may not need to have a full-on home. Like the throw may need to go to third. So our pitcher may go cut the line halfway and then listen for the catcher, say 4 or 3. And then if it gets changed to 3, then he doesn't have to run a whole 90 feet back up the line.
One more common mistake I see pitchers make is they'll go too close to the bag that's being thrown to, and they don't have a chance to react on a pass ball. So at third base, the pitcher should be almost up against the fence, and at home, he should be almost up against the backstop.
Okay, now we're going to cover tandems or double relays from the outfield. Throws going to third base here. We're starting with the ball hit out to the right center gap. It's hit the wall, so it's super deep. We're obviously going to need a potential of 2 guys here. Our second baseman is going to be the lead cutoff man here. So he's going to make the deepest move out to the outfield. Our shortstop's going to be following our second baseman, relatively 15 yards behind him. A good distance where he can be playing as that backup man if the second baseman misses it. Otherwise, if he's too close to him, he's not able to really help him out if he misses it or gets a short hop from the outfielder. So again, throw coming in from the outfield, hits our second baseman or shortstop, depending on the throw coming in, and then our middle infielder is throwing the ball to third base. Again, getting lined up from our third baseman. He's helping those guys out with left, right, and stick.
One more thing about the tandem cut. Since both of your middle infielders are headed out to cut, your first baseman is actually going to trail the runner as he gets to second base and cover second base when he gets there for a back pick.
Okay, now we're going to cover double cuts going to home. So we got 2 balls in the outfield and the gaps. So obviously we're going to potentially need 2 guys to help make these throws go home. We'll start in right center. Obviously our right fielder and our center fielder are both attacking the ball. Our second baseman is going to be our lead guy into the outfield as our cut man. And then, as usual, our first baseman is going to follow in behind our second baseman to help as that double cut guy. Okay, so now we're going to cover tandems or double cuts in the left center gap going to home. So obviously ball's hitting left center, we got it at the wall. Our center fielder and our left fielder are now going to attack the ball. Our shortstop is going to be our lead cutoff man, so he's got it out to help our outfielders. Our first baseman is going to be our trail cut guy, so he's going to follow in suit behind our shortstop for the reason of our third baseman needs to cover third base, our second baseman is covering second, and our pitcher is now covering and backing up home.